first time a man has seen me female 20 without a hijab and in a bathing suit causing shame and excitement. This happened a few days ago, but maybe I should give some background first. I'm a 20-year-old Muslim girl from Pakistan now living in Canada. I have always worn a hijab and dressed modestly, but more for cultural reasons than for religious reasons. My first and only boyfriend and I split up about a month ago, and I live alone in an apartment in a large city. Recently, a Canadian friend of mine from university asked me if I could house sit for her family while they went to the cottage for a month holiday. I was happy to get out of my small apartment and spend a month in a nice house, especially since they have a private swimming pool. Before they left on holiday, my friend Susan told me that since we were about the same size, 5'1" and 105 pounds, I could use her bathing suit since I did not have one. This one is best for swimming, she said, showing me the dark blue bathing suit, because it fits well and it is one piece. She continued, but this one is best for tanning. She held up a couple of small pieces of white fabric held together with strings. Where is the rest of it? I said with a laugh. It was that skimpiest bikini I had ever seen. Well, you want to tan as much skin as possible, right? Of course, you already have nice caramel skin. She smiled. Thanks, I said, though, to be honest, I always wished my skin was lighter. As much as I looked forward to spending some time by the pool, I was also a little anxious. You are sure it is a pretty private backyard, right? I would be uncomfortable if other people could see me. For sure, she said. The yard is surrounded by 8-foot fencing and lots of trees, and the neighbors are never around anyway. Unless for some reason somebody wanted to come to the back door through the side gate, which never happens, you'll feel like you're on a deserted island. We gave each other a hug and she left for the cottage with her parents. The next morning I went out by the pool just to check to be sure it was private. Sure enough, I could not even see the neighbors' houses because of the trees and fences. I went back inside, undressed, and put on the blue one-piece bathing suit. Back in the yard, it felt strange to have my long brown hair flowing to my shoulders. I think it was the first time I have been outside without my hijab since I was a little girl back in Pakistan. Looking around cautiously, I lay down on a towel by the pool. I relished the warm sun playing across my body. Over the next couple of days I became more comfortable laying in the backyard, really enjoying a new sense of freedom. I was also surprised to find how attorney I became. Though I had a bad breakup with my boyfriend, I have to admit I miss the sex. So for a few days I fell into a routine of laying out back for a few hours before coming back in the house to masturbate. Then, a couple of days ago, I thought I might try the tiny white bikini. It really was skimpy. Even though my BEs are barely 34B, the little white triangles hardly covered anything. My dark nipples were obvious through the thin, white fabric. The Tiong bottom was very tight and snug. The thin string at the back covered nothing at all, and as I walked to the backyard it became even tighter between my legs. Laying on my back in the hot sun, I quickly became aroused. With my eyes closed, I enjoyed the gentle tingles running through my body, and then, suddenly I heard a knocking sound. Startled, I looked up to see a man peering over the gate at me. Quickly sitting up, I crossed my legs and covered my chest with my arms. "Hello," the man said. "I am from the electric company and have to read your meter." Okay," I stammered, cringing as he looked at me. The gate opened and he stepped into the yard. "Great," he said. "Can you show me where the basement is?" "I guess so," I mumbled, awkwardly getting to my feet. I tried to look nonchalant with one hand covering my pussy and the other arm across my chest. I have never felt so naked and exposed. He was tall, about 40 years old, and he followed me into the kitchen. Through that door and down the stairs," I said, pointing to the basement door. "If you don't mind," he said, "I have to ask you to come with me. It is company policy that we are never alone in that house." "Oh, okay, I guess," I replied. I felt I had no choice. My feet were unsteady on the steep, wooden staircase as he followed me to the basement. The cement floor was cold on my feet in the large, dusty room. My head was spinning as he pulled out a clipboard and began to make notes on a sheet of paper. I felt ashamed, nervous, and vulnerable. I also realized, to my shock, that my body was reacting with excitement. Glancing down, I could see the bee thing in his pants. He wants to duck me, I said to myself. There, he said, that should do it. When our eyes met, I could see the last in his steely, blue eyes. My knees felt weak. Almost instinctively, I let my arms fall to the side and he ran his gaze up and down my body. I trembled. Ladies first, he said with a smile and pointed to the stairs. I had to hold the handrail tightly to keep my balance as I slowly walked up the stairs. He paused at the bottom and I knew he was looking right at my ass and between my legs. In my head I kept hearing, he wants to duck me. He wants to duck me. I realized I wanted him to duck me too. He followed me into the kitchen and I kept saying to myself, please say something, please come on to me, tell me what you want to do. He stepped into the backyard and turned to look at me again. I stood silently, my arms at my side, as his eyes lingered on my beasts and hard end pulls, then down my bare tummy to my barely covered and wet. Thank you for letting me look at your... He paused, then said, at your meter. I looked between his legs. The bee thing was even bigger. I was already on the verge of orgasm as his eyes ran up and down my body one more time. Hope you have a nice day. Then, he turned and was gone. With a groan I slowly slipped to the kitchen floor, ripped off my bikini, spread my legs and did it myself. I have never felt anything like it before. It was so intense, I now wonder if it was my first, true orgasm. I don't know how long I laid on the floor, painting, quivering, my emotions swirling. I had never felt so slutty. A strange man had seen me, almost naked, without a hijab, and he wanted to duck me. Even more shocking, I wanted him to duck me too. And, I realized, if he had just said something I would have let him duck me. I have the house all to myself for the next 3 weeks.